Thank you to Lynn Community TV for this opportunity. My name is Jamie Belcito, and I'm running to be your next Congresswoman. I'm a progressive leader, education activist, a mental health advocate, a policy expert, a women's rights champion, a mother, and a wife. I bring 20 years of legislative and policy expertise to this district. I know how Congress works because I've been working in the halls of Congress for over 2 decades with a proven track record of succeeding in the name of we, the people, who are ultimately the ones elected officials are tasked to serve. I am the everyday person of the 6th District. My dad's from Wakefield, my mom's from Stoneham, and I grew up in a working-class home with my 2 brothers. I am the daughter of a union floor layer and the great-granddaughter of Syrian refugees. I'm the product of the Reading Public School System and a Salem State University grad, where I'm currently a trustee. I'm a mom worried about my 2 young daughters' education, and I'm a daughter concerned about the health of my parents during this pandemic. I'm a candidate for Congress who is deeply concerned about the current state of our district. I'm running for Congress to be the voice of the 6th District of Massachusetts in Washington, the voice of the everyday person, of the American worker, working-class families, women, the LGBTQI community, the disabled, mothers, educators, students, people of color, immigrants. These are the voices that have not been heard, that are right here in this district. As we face this pandemic and its uncertainty, I feel the pain many in the district are facing. I know what it's like to work 3 jobs, go to college full-time, and graduate with thousands of dollars worth of debt. I know what it's like to lose your job, have no access to unemployment benefits, and not be able to pay rent. I know what it's like to be laid off at 8 months pregnant and have no health insurance. I don't want anyone in our district to have to face these challenges alone, and I will be a fighter in the halls of Congress to represent and take care of you. Lynn has always been a part of my life. My parents met on Lynn Beach. I spent many summers playing Charlie's Angels on those same beaches, looking forward to eating the best fried chicken ever from Good Luck Farms at the Rotary. In 2010 and in 2013, I suffered from a temporary and treatable mental health complication commonly known as postpartum depression. After my recovery, I made a commitment to myself to make sure that no other mother or family in our district would ever have to go through the mental health challenges that I faced alone. So 6 years ago, I began working with the North Shore Postpartum Help Group and the Massachusetts State Legislature to keep funding in place at the Lynn Community Healthcare Center for mental health support programs for pregnant and new moms. In 2016, I highlighted the programs that the Lynn Community Healthcare Center had been able to develop on maternal wellness and multilingual peer support programs while working alongside Senator Elizabeth Warren. The work that's been done in Lynn to help pregnant and new moms has helped shape maternal health reform at the federal level. I've been working with Aspire to address child and maternal wellness programs, as well as access to diapers for families in need. Currently, there's a bill in the state legislature dedicated to diaper need because of this work. During this pandemic, I've been in constant communication with Lynn elected officials, teachers, school committee members, and parents, listening to what the city needs for its schools and what the impact has been by not receiving the full funding of the Student Opportunity Act. I've been engaging local businesses in Lynn Main Streets to channel helpful information coming out of the federal government for small business loans and programs and grants. What has been the most helpful, though, is listening to what the businesses actually need and work on getting government to listen to them so that they receive the support they need to survive this pandemic and anything in the future. Now more than ever, this district needs a representative who knows how to make government work for the people that they represent. We are in the middle of a global pandemic. We are not going back to normal anytime soon. We need a congresswoman who is focused on the district, fighting for school funding, PPE for our frontline workers and nursing homes, free COVID testing, federal money for our Main Street businesses and mom and pop businesses, bringing business and jobs back to this district, as we face supply chain and manufacturing shortages highlighted by this pandemic. I might not have all the answers, but I am ready to do the work. While in Congress, I will make sure our communities have a seat at my table. I want constituents of this district to feel like they have the ear of their congressional representative and are a part of their representative's priorities. I know what it takes to get things done in Washington. As I said before, I have a proven track record of winning on issues I've advocated for, such as immigration reform, and I've worked on obtaining full funding for mental health and maternal wellness support programs. I have successfully shepherded legislation and laws signed by both Republican and Democratic-controlled administrations for the benefit of the everyday American. I'm seeking one job and one job only, and that is to be your next congressional representative, the first Congresswoman of the 6th District of Massachusetts. I will put my experience, passion, and love of where I was raised and where I'm raising my family to work for our district. I will be a voice for the underrepresented. I will be a voice for all of us. I ask for your support, and I ask for your vote, and I thank Lynn Community Television for this opportunity to address the voters of the City of Lynn. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Angus Mcquilkin, candidate for Congress here in Lynn. And I want to thank Lynn Community TV for the opportunity to have this conversation with you. Normally we would have done this in studio, but under COVID-19 circumstances, we decided to do it outdoors here in Red Rock Park. I'm glad to be here in Lynn today. It's our district's most diverse and largest community, and it's a community where I have long family roots. My great-grandmother, Mary Flynn, when she moved to this country in 1911, she settled here in Lynn. And I've spent a lot of time in Lynn as a candidate for Congress, and I've enjoyed that time in getting to know the community. I had the opportunity to attend last year's Lynn Democratic City Committee Barbecue, a great annual tradition. I had the opportunity to stand at the polls in Lynn on the day of the presidential primary for the entire day and meet with voters and learn from them about their priorities and the issues that are impacting their lives and their families. And most recently, I had the opportunity to stand on the commuter rail platform in downtown Lynn and talk to voters as I handed out masks to commuters who were heading in to work, and also met many commuters coming out of work after overnight shifts at MGH and our healthcare institutions. And I learned a lot about Lynn that day. There's a number of things I want you to know about me as a person and as a candidate. First, I live in Topsfield with my wife Diane, and we have between us 4 kids. So they keep us busy, they spend all our time and all of our money, but we love them, and they are our most important job. But I'm also an educator. I'm a classroom teacher at LaSalle University in Newton. I teach undergraduates in the communications school there. I'm a cancer survivor, 12 years out, and I've ridden 12 times now, 12 years in a row, in the Pan Mass Challenge to raise money for cancer research at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, where I received excellent care. I'm an economy builder. I've spent much of the past decade as one of the leadership members at the Massachusetts Life Sciences Center. It's the agency charged with implementing our state's life sciences initiative with the goal of making us #1 in the world in life sciences, which we are now. And that initiative has created tens of thousands of jobs across the state, including thousands of jobs right here in the 6th Congressional District. And I am a coalition builder. I've spent the past 30 years of my life building coalitions of people who care about change and working together to pass legislation that's making a difference in people's lives, including the most effective gun violence prevention laws in the country. That's my model for change, and that's the model of change that I want to bring to Washington as your next member of Congress. I've established clear priorities as a candidate for Congress because I think it's important when you run for office that you tell people what you stand for and what you're going to fight for. All of the priorities I put forward intersect with what's going on here in the city of Lynn. It starts with economic recovery and economic growth. I want to fight to make sure we're getting our fair share of the resources from economic recovery legislation to support our small businesses and our family businesses here in Lynn. But I also want to look to the future and make sure that Lynn is part of the growth of our innovation economy in Massachusetts and champion companies coming to Lynn, locating in Lynn, creating jobs here in the life sciences and other sectors, and creating employment opportunities for residents of this great city. The second priority is healthcare, something I hear a lot about from voters in Lynn. I want to create an affordable public option for every American so that everyone has access to high-quality, affordable health care and health insurance. third priority is education. I want to make sure that the federal government is doing its part to ensure that we can provide a high-quality, first-class education to every young person in Lynn so that they can build their future and build the future of this community. But education doesn't end at high school. I want to make sure that families in Lynn have access to affordable public higher education. I'm a product of the University of Massachusetts, and so I believe that our public higher education system is there to provide an affordable option for working families that are in many cases sending a kid to college for the very first time. We've lost that in Massachusetts. We need to make a major investment in affordability of public higher education. Fourth priority is transportation, around which there are particular challenges in Lynn, but also opportunities. I want to see us extend the Blue Line to Lynn, but I also want to see us electrify the commuter rail line so that we can run more frequent shuttle service between Lynn and the city of Boston. I'd also like to see us give that ferry another chance. The pilot program wasn't well publicized. I think there'd be more demand for it if people know about it. So there's a lot we can do for transportation in Lynn. The next priority is gun violence prevention. I co-founded the Massachusetts Coalition to Prevent Gun Violence. I've spent most of my adult life working to make sure that we have the most effective gun laws in the country. But we know that we need meaningful and effective national gun laws in this country. That's what I'll champion as a member of Congress. The next priority is the climate crisis. Lynn is a coastal community. Our district is a coastal district. We're seeing the impacts of the climate crisis already, and we're seeing those impacts accelerate. We need to take urgent action to address the climate crisis so that our current generation and future generations have a sustainable world to live in. And the last priority I want to mention is housing, which I know is a particular challenge here in Lynn. We need to increase the resources from the federal government for housing projects so that we can increase the availability of housing units. But most of what's happening now through housing programs is creating rental units. Now we need more rental units, that's important. But I also think we need a path to home ownership. Because if we want to create economic mobility and allow people the opportunity to own their own home, we need to focus on models that allow people to build equity and work toward the objective of home ownership. These are some of the priorities that I'll put forward as a candidate for Congress. I would encourage you to visit my website at angusforcongress.com to learn more about these priorities and to get involved in this campaign for change. And I invite everyone watching this video to do that and to contact me with any questions at angusforcongress.com. Thank you for the opportunity to have this conversation with you. Have a great day.